Hey, so today's video is just going to be part 2 of Lightroom Basics, and today we're going to be going over the mask in Lightroom. So there's a bunch of different masks that you can choose from. There's a subject mask, which will automatically select our subject right here. We've also got the sky mask, which is going to pick our sky in the background. And then over here we've also got a people. So we've got people, which will pick out people from whoever's in the photo, and you can select them. That's another one. And we've also got background mask. So background will select the whole background. So our main subject right here, anything that's not the main subject is what's going to get selected in that mask. So those are kind of the auto mask. Under here we've got objects, brush, linear gradient, and radial gradient. Object, you can select a certain object and it will auto mask that for you. Brush, you can kind of just brush on. There's a lot of different things you can do with the brush. You can change the size, how much you want to feather that brush, flow and density. This is basically controls like, so I can draw here, and the more I draw on that same spot, the more the mask is going to show up. We've also got, click off of this, we've also got linear gradients, which will kind of be like this. More of the mask effect will be towards the top right here, and then it will kind of fade out, and we can change that fade by dragging these. So now there's less fade, now there's more fade. And then we've also got the radial gradient, which will kind of be the same thing, but we can kind of just make a circle or kind of like an oval, however we want to shape it. This inside will be how much is feathered. So this will have no feather, so it'll be really harsh on the edit. And then the more feather that we add, the more that's going to be kind of feathered out. So that's just a basic overview of the mask. Now I'll show you kind of what you can do with the mask. So you can edit a whole photo just using mask, not using any of these main sliders over here, and you can kind of really customize this photo. So say I want to make the sky have more contrast in it. I can select the sky, then I can come down here to my point curve, and I can kind of adjust that sky how I want it to be. I can make those bright parts brighter, darker parts darker. Nice little S-curve right here. And now just with that mask, I've already edited my sky without touching anything else. Now I can add mask here. I can select my subject. So if I want to brighten him up, make him stand out from the background a bit more, I can do that. I can lower the highlights on him. I can kind of do whatever I want with him, and it's only going to affect the main subject. I can also do a linear gradient. I can drag that from the bottom, so if I want more of my focus on the photo to be kind of up in this upper area, I can darken down here, and that's going to kind of pull your focus to the middle of his body. And then to kind of make that effect even more, I can make a radial mask here. And I can kind of brighten him, not too much, but now it's just going to pull your focus and your eye right here to his helmet and kind of where the jersey number is. So just using the mask alone, this is what we've done with the photo. Now, with these masks, you can also use these right here, these plus and minus. You can add to these masks, and you can also subtract from the mask. So say I didn't want his pants to be selected in the linear gradient because they're already pretty dark. I can go here, subtract, and I can select my subject. And now any part of my subject that is within that mask inside this linear gradient is not going to be selected. So you can see how that kind of changed when I selected the player. I can also use a radial mask inside of my linear gradient, so I can subtract from this mask, and I can use any of these type of masks. So if I wanted to make a radial gradient, you can see how that's kind of deselecting those areas where that radial gradient is at inside of that mask. I can also add to it the same way by pressing the plus, and now I can select the whole subject. So now my whole subject is going to be changed along with that linear gradient. You can kind of see those changes happening where that gradient's at right here. and also on my main subject. So that's just some ways that you can use the mask. You can also use the mask kind of like this, where if you wanted to kind of create some light contrast, what I like to do is from here I can do a linear gradient and I can kind of make this darker behind him, and then I can use a linear gradient coming from this corner and I can make this a bit lighter, and it's kind of adding that kind of 3D light effect to where now we've got a corner that's darker and a corner that's lighter. Kind of just makes our subjects stand off the background a bit more. You can see how that effect works right here. That's without any of our mask, and that's with all our masks selected. So kind of what I did is I added that contrast to the sky, raised the brightness on our player, kind of darken this below, lighten this right here so our eye is drawn to his helmet, and then I kind of create that 3D effect with the light where I've got dark coming down from one corner and light coming from the other. And now if I didn't want my subject to be selected in any of this, I can always subtract my subject from that mask and also select my subject and subtract him from the mask. So now my subject isn't affected and it's only the background being affected right here. So that's just a quick tutorial on these masks. I can do a more in-depth video later on this if you would like. Just comment below if you have any questions. Subscribe for more. I'm making these basic videos every single day so you guys can learn more about Lightroom. Thank you for watching.